Okay, back with your girl Sweets, and I'm here today with these beautiful men from Father Bill's in Mainspring, and we're gonna do our craft right now. And this is the time where we cool it out, and I dedicate this to you guys, you know what I mean? First of all, you got this lovely, that was cute. Okay, I have a meaning at the end to method to my madness every time with every craft. Right now, you got some glue over there. You got some Q-tips, and if you just a dab would do you know, and bedazzle while we're talking, and I'll ask some questions, and we'll just have conversation over the craft.
Perfect.
Okay then.
You want one?
No,
Okay.
these are
All
you
right.
guys.
All
So
right.
you can do them both, and they're yours.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you know, you know what? I think if you keep it in the frame and do, I don't know.
Do it up here.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
do
you think I
one
should-
side and
Oh,
keep
okay.
it in.
Okay.
And then when you go, you won't have that problem.
There you go.
All
Yes,
right.
I understand.
Okay then. Yes. So from hearing the stories, and you know, my program is all about containing anxiety. You know, and I just got a couple of questions for you guys.
Yeah.
Sure.
And on my journey of helping people, I have trouble with balancing how not to get too involved. Can you give me your tip or secret? I'm going to ask you first, and then maybe you can tell me, how do you balance that?
I mean, I think it's one of the biggest challenges new staff have with the agency, particularly if they're new to the field, because there's so much need and so much you want to help people with that I think it's very easy to work 100 hours a week, never shut down, just constantly keep going because the work can feel a little overwhelming at times. I think a lot of what we talk to our team about is a couple things, but certainly the self-care conversation around like what are those practices you have at home to help you come back to work kind of filled the next day, and not just, you can't always be pouring out for everyone else if you're not refilling. But I think there's also a big part of our work is we want it to be person-centered. So the person that we are working with, we want them to direct what the work is that's happening. Because I can have all sorts of ideas of how I think someone should be helped, but if that's not what that person wants or their journey, it's just me projecting what I think onto them. And so we really have to talk to that individual and say, how do we help support your goals? What do you want to do?
Okay.
And take it kind of step by step as it comes, as opposed to, if you see someone staying outside as an outreach worker and you're working with them, like first thing you want to do is get them inside the shelter.
Right.
They may not be ready for that, but they may be ready to accept a meal or just a phone number to have someone they can call, and letting them kind of lead a little bit on what that next step is. So, but it's very hard, I think, for staff to balance.
But that's a good tip.
I mean, I would agree. I think, to piggyback off John, this work can be like all-consuming. So with, and never-ending. Never-ending. So with, years and experience, you learn to set professional boundaries almost for yourself so that you won't burn out and that you can wake up the next day and continue to do this work. And also to be maybe a more self-awareness as to when you're getting tired or when you need to pull back a little bit or things like that.
Okay, well, those are good tips. Those are very good tips. And it's really hard. I had a situation where I did a show at Roxbury Library, and I go there and I deal with all the kids, and I invited this young lady, and she was like, "What are you talking to me for?" And with you guys dealing with homelessness, right?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put a label on it, but mental illness sometimes come right along with that, like a marriage, you know what I mean? And she was like, "Why are you talking to me?" I said, "Lord, please, hold me, you know what I mean? Let me get out of here. I don't know whether or not to do my show or stay," because she wanted to fight. And I'm like, what is going on? But the staff calmed her down. I went on and did my show. But it was something that bothered me, you know what I mean? And it gave me anxiety about going back the next time. But I went back, I built up the courage, but sometimes it gets a little hard, can I say? Because I'm like, where do I draw the line? Because some people need me and they be like, oh, I'm so glad you're back. And I can imagine you guys with a center where people come, it must be, does it get overwhelming for you guys?
It can, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It can feel like every single person needs their own individual case manager at times to help sort through their problems in life. It's strange because then sometimes you have people who don't want to engage with you, that are there just for shelter. They're not maybe interested in housing, or they have other issues or problems going on in their life that are taking them away from thinking about housing. Or they're just not ready. Just not ready for housing.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
So I think what we do is we focus on who we can engage with, who is active in looking for housing and looking for bettering their situation, and go with that.
That's cool. That's really good.
The shelter tonight will probably serve about 170 people.
Oh, wow.
It is, the shelters across Massachusetts right now are all full, essentially. I mean, we get people in the building, we make sure that they have a safe place to stay, but we run out of beds most nights. And so it can be a very difficult, busy building. And as you said, many of the people are struggling with mental health issues. We know there's substance use issues. There's also just a lot of trauma that people have experienced, whether as young adults or just, from domestic violence or whatever it might be. And so all those pathologies, all those personalities, like they're all kind of under one roof. And so it becomes a lot for everyone to try to figure out, like, how do we coexist here together?
Right.
And so I think, it can be a lot for staff, but again, it's still having staff understand, like, how do we ensure that people stay safe for the night? How do we keep it as calm an environment as possible? So when people are ready, as Jeff said, to reach out for different resources and support, we're there to help them out in that
That's
moment.
nice. Oh my God, thank God for you guys. How do you feel some nights, and these are some of the things that me in your position that I thought about, the questions to ask. When you got to turn people away, with that, what time do you got to get in line? Can you tell everybody that?
So the shelter, I mean, if it's your first time coming to shelter, you can show up at any time. Like, we do traditionally have people kind of start lining up around 3:30, 4 o'clock and come in for the evening. But that's for the Brockton shelter right now. When we move to our new site, we're going to be able to have that open for guests to come in and out all times of the day. So they can stay in during the day, regardless of the weather. They can, kind of come and go during that time. We do typically have people in by about 6 o'clock at night if they're coming in. But if you're working, if you've got an appointment, if you got an AA meeting or NA meeting, something else in the evening, as long as they're talking to staff about that, they can come in later. We have lots of staff who work overnight shifts, work into the evening. We want to support that. We want to, those are helpful, positive things that they're doing. So we want to make sure that they're able to do that.
That's so nice.
And we don't turn people away because of capacity or space. So for us, it's really about how do we get as many people inside the building as possible each night.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That's so nice. That is so nice. Now, the thing I want to ask, you both got families at home, you know what I mean? And with this job, living in our purpose and helping everybody through the day. When you go home, I'm gonna speak for me. Y'all might be, sometimes when I go home, I'm a little burnt out. I just need 10 minutes, to get my mind right. And then sometimes I feel a little selfish, right? Because I've been out here all day helping, and then I know how to listen to my body, right? And my mind, soul, and spirit.
Right.
But can you tell me, is it challenging, like when you go home, to give the people you love what they deserve too? Because,
Well, speaking for myself, I mean, I'm human too, some days are, they hit a little different and they feel a little different, or you're dealing with really challenging, difficult families or individuals or situations. But what I try to do is I just try to, take a few minutes to wind down. I'd like to think I have really good boundaries and I can kind of turn it off once I go home. And then I always know tomorrow is like another day.
oh,
It's another day to get back into it and start doing it again. Just get to tomorrow.
Just get to
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Get to
I
tomorrow.
tell
You can start
people,
again.
That's a good message. I tell people, don't be so hard on yourself. You know,
absolutely.
a lot of times we get home and be like, dang, I forgot to clean up under the house and sweep. Like, you know what I mean? Be like, come on, congratulate yourself on all the great things that you've done for the day. You know what I mean? And you guys help so many people all the way across the board every day. I'm trying to take some tips from you guys so I can assert it with my business and my walk of life, you know, because I aim to have an Artz Over Anxiety innovation center myself where doing some things like you guys. And I want to run this past you and tell me what you think, because I have not seen any women's. Like, I went to the Kingston House to get clean. Like I said, I needed more. I had to go to detox at Dennis. Then when I got to Kingston House, I had post detox, and then I had life growth, you know. And they decided, like, when my attitude was right, when I was gonna, they couldn't put a time, like a month you go. No, it was like 3 months before I went to the next step where I could, you know. But I went back. Once I was clean for about 5 years, I wanted to make sure I could live life on life's terms for that 5 years, so I can say, oh, I want to go back to the Kingston House and speak, right? And do a commitment. They said, oh, we don't have a ladies program no more. It's all men's. So if I could ask you, do you have anything like that, or would you guys be willing? Because, you know, that I'm so grateful for the Kingston House being there for me in that program at that time, and being a longevity program. And I understand what you guys say when you're dealing with an individual. It's up to the individual. The fault is rules everywhere you go. And when we go into these places, you guys, we got to know that we have no structure in our life. So we're coming to you guys to help us build our foundation back up again, right? So, like, I was so ready. I felt so guilty from being there in the first place. How did I get in a situation where to leave my children, you know, and be in a shelter? This is crazy. And everybody's looking at me like, what are you here? You look good. I said, oh, you're just smoking. Saying, no, it's not just weed. It's alcohol addiction. And they would say, well, alcohol's not that bad. And I tell them, alcohol is worse than heroin and fentanyl, okay, and all those other hard drugs, because a liquor store in every corner in my community. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's set up for you to fail, you know? Because I knew them times when I went to rehab for 30 and 60 days, I came right back to where I was at and dropped right back in it. It's like, you're set up for failure because you're back in the concrete jungle again, you know? And there was a liquor store right across the street. So it's like, you know, the temptations of life going on. Let me ask you, would you be willing to, you know, look into that? Or maybe, do you have that for women? It's something that's really needed.
So I think at our housing resource centers, one of the changes from kind of the old shelter model that we had before is that we wanted people to be able to stay in during the daytime, but we wanted a whole menu of services and groups that they could be meeting with during the day. And that right now, in Quincy, we've been trying this out for about the past year, and I will say we probably average 5 or 6 different groups or classes every day. And that could be a mix of skill building. So we have case managers who just block off time for housing search, for job search, employment, whatever that might be. But there's a lot of just social engagement activities too. So people come in, they'll do a Bible study, they'll do an arts and crafts group. Like, we have a Dungeons and Dragons group that comes in. It's really, and a lot of it, we asked the guests and said, what would be helpful for you on site? What would you like to do? And every 3-4 months, one of our staff members will kind of put out a survey and say, hey, what are we missing? And recently we added some musical instruments into one of our rooms. And it's just set aside time. If you want to go play guitar, there's drum pads, there's keyboards, little things where it's just, whether you've never played before or you just want a quiet place to play something, go do that. There's peer-led groups. We're doing cooking classes, just anything to help people have that, like you said, that structure and positive things they can be working on throughout the day with whatever they want to engage with. Again, so none of it's required, none of it's you have to attend X number of classes. It's just, hey, here's all the stuff going on today. If this appeals to you and you think this would be helpful, whether it's for your sobriety, skill building, whatever's next, that's open. So we're always interested in people that want to come in, work with our population, you know, whether that's weekly, monthly, once a year, like whatever it might be, whatever they can do, we're always happy to have people come in.
That's beautiful. And let me ask, you spoke about staff, and I don't, oops, my earring. Oh, my nose keep passing that. 1 second, Michelle. Thank you. Sure. Okay. Ladies without jewelry, right? Okay. The cost of being beautiful.
Exactly.
Okay. Yes.
It comes
And-
with a price.
Yes, yes. So let me ask you, with all the staffing and that we're talking about, and I know it takes a lot of people to make this operation
does.
run. You know, it's like a Rolex. You might not hear it, but it's still running and
Absolutely.
working.
Absolutely.
Volunteers, can you tell me about that? How could people volunteer and come down?
Absolutely. We have a whole volunteer department. We're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for people to help serve meals, to engage with clients. There's a whole host of things that volunteers could assist with in our distribution center. So much.
Yeah.
And if they're interested, feel free to contact Father Bill's in Mainspring and ask for the volunteer coordinator, Marianne Mendez, and she will put you in touch with all the different programs that are looking for volunteers.
Ain't that awesome? Please come out, you guys. It's for a beautiful, beautiful cause. And come on, help the community. We got the two men right here, you know, and they so handsome. Let me stop saying handsome. Their wives are gonna be up here looking for me. Oh, Jesus. But you guys, they're really wonderful men, and they're great people and serving a great cause. And I wanna let you guys know, as we're doing these cups, make sure you put a little bit on this one.
I know.
Because this one is gonna be for someone special in your life, okay?
All right.
And while we're doing this bedazzlements, I just want to congratulate you guys on, you know, just being such, I can't find the words, you know, just awesome, just doing awesome things and living in your purpose. Because, like I said, when a person has nowhere to go and they don't know what to do, even I can speak from homelessness, right? Because I've been homeless. And like I said, everybody thinks homelessness looks like you're out on the street or you're, you know, and every time it doesn't look like that.
Right.
When I was homeless, I had a +2, you know, my kids, and I didn't know what to do. I went to the welfare office. I was in a bad woman situation, but I'm like, anything's gonna be better than this. And we talked about rock bottom. When, you know, everybody's rock bottom is different. And when I went to Dove's Battered Women's Shelter, and I'm gonna be going back there to do my Artz Over Anxiety show, just like I wanna volunteer to come down to Father Bill's, and any way I can help, you let me know, and I'll be there, you know, and I please, you guys, if you have any spare time on your hand, take the steps. I'm gonna put all the information at the end of the show upon the screen, okay? And I just wanna tell you guys, while you are filling everybody else's cup up, look at this, ain't this beautiful? Give one of these cups, okay, to somebody that fills your cup.
Okay.
Oh, I like
Okay.
that.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Yes, because they deserve it. Because we always got somebody in the background to pack
Absolutely.
our parachute.
Absolutely.
We got somebody might fold it. Somebody might put the rip tied in there. But somebody's always in the background. And while you guys are shining, being the beautiful people that you are, maybe take one of the, keep one for yourself, because you guys shine bright like a diamond. And we know that diamonds are made under pressure, and I will be praying every day for God to hover around you guys while y'all do this great work for everybody. And I just got so many chills, and every question that I asked you answered, you know, from the food to the veterans to the elderly, you know, and people without housing, people currently looking at facing eviction, all those things and all those resources they got, guys. Come down. If you're down rock bottom like I was, maybe you don't know which way to go to get help to go into rehab. You guys can help with that, right?
Sure.
All of that. Go down to Father Bill's. Can you tell everybody your location where they can go?
Yep, Father Bill's in Mainspring and Brockton is located at 460 Belmont Street, right here in Brockton.
Right. Okay.
The only other thing I would add is, because you've been super complimentary of Father Bill's in Mainspring and the work we do, and I appreciate that, but I would want to note, like, Brockton is a very service-rich area and has a myriad of wonderful providers. You know, Brockton Neighborhood Health Center, Jeff talked about BAMSI earlier, Old Colony Y. I mean, there's just a number of social service providers that do really, really great work in this community. And so, I mean, certainly we're happy to help as much as we can, but we're not the only ones doing it. There's a lot of really good agencies doing great work across the city. So I think Brockton should be proud of that.
Oh my goodness. Can I give you a hug? Yes, oh, you did a great job. Keep up doing the good work. Okay, y'all gonna have me crying in here. Come on, you bring it on in.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, y'all are doing
Thank you.
great work. Oh my God, y'all. This has been a great session. I just tell you, I'm just overwhelmed with joy, and I wanna, y'all don't know. I swear to God, you just don't know, because I've been in this situation. And y'all are wonderful, and y'all are beautiful. You just don't know. I'm just here to say thank you, thank you, thank you from all the people that might not tell you. Today, I'm here to tell you that y'all are angels right here on earth, okay?
Well, thank you.
Thank
and thank you for bringing this message out to everyone. It's wonderful that you have this platform.
Yeah, thank you guys. Y'all are so good, okay?
Thank you.
I love your purpose. I'm trying to be like y'all when I grow up. Y'all gotta go now. All right, y'all. We out of here. I'm Sweets from the Artz Over Anxiety. Tell the people who you are one more
Jeff
time.
Gagnon.
John Lanham.
All right, and we out. Love and hugs.
Thanks, everyone.